Hey, it's Nax and welcome back to my channel. I am so happy to be back in my normal setup, and it is summer here right now in LA. And speaking of summer, I was very blessed enough to attend the Summer Game Fest play days where I got to eat good food, I got to hang out with good friends, and not only that, I got to play some up-and-coming games which will be releasing within the next year. And one of the first few games that I got to play was Astro Bot from PlayStation. Okay, like so many of you guys, I made the mistake of overlooking Astro's Playroom, but I was wrong. Now, with Astro Bots, they expanded on the world that they already created, and it's just amazing. And I love the Easter eggs, but more than that, I love how much they utilize the DualSense controller. There's this one part in the game, I kid you not, where once I save Astro's friends, one by one they end up on the controller and you could feel them. So it's like when you save them, they're like chilling on top of the controller, and you could even like move them around, you could like shake them, and you could even like toss them. Oops! Sorry. You could even like toss them up and then catch them, and you would feel them landing on the controller. Like if you toss them up like that, they'd go up and then they'd land, and then they make the cutest sound. But I feel like this game uses the DualSense controller better than any other game on the planet. I mean, the haptic feedback is amazing, and every single thing you touch feels like it's communicated to the controller. The gyro steering and how it felt so natural flying the dual speeder. My initial reaction playing the game is that I love how fluid and natural it felt. You could even change the orientation of the speeder depending on how you orient the controller in real life, which I feel like just adds another layer of immersion to the game playing in Astro Bot. I mean, overall, the combination of the DualSense controller and the level design, plus the mechanics, makes it, in my mind, one of the must-play games on PS5, any way you put it. So speaking of the level design, I love how the level design rewards exploring with not only coins, but with this cool animation and interactions that you can have throughout the map. Also, a lot of the coins you find each represents a part of the PlayStation's history, and I felt like an archaeologist at times, exploring and digging up clues almost, and that was a really clever way to actually give some of the coins meaning. So there are so many levels, and it felt like on almost every level there was something new and different, whether it was a different type of environment to interact with, or there's a new mechanic or a new power-up. So speaking of mechanics, the ones that I discovered during the playthrough were this rocket dog, which lets me boost up and through walls, so you could explore areas which you couldn't explore before, and it could give you a boost of speed to get from one place to another, and you could even traverse different levels in one area which you wouldn't have even thought about traversing if you didn't have the booster dog. And there was also this one other power up where if you hit R2, it inflates like a balloon, so it's almost like you have this hot air balloon on your back which helps you float up. And of course, when you hit it again, it deflates, and depending on how you control it, you could move your way to a part of the map which you can explore yet again. There was also another where you get these spring-like boxing gloves at the end, and they give you so many ways to use it, hitting enemies, or you could use them as swings so that you can move from one place to another. Moving on, I did mention that there were also so many different worlds. The full game should have around 6 galaxies and dozens of levels. I believe up to 50 planets, so each planet is like a level. So something that was impressive was this transition you get from one part to another. For example, you'll be in one area of the level, and then all of a sudden you're in this huge water slide going down, and of course you feel all the sensations in the dual shock going down the slide, and you're finally in a different place. So remember how I mentioned that they were so clever about including a part of PlayStation history with some of the coins? Well, they also did that with the bots that you rescue. And some of the bots actually end up being Easter eggs. For example, the bot from Parappa the Rappa make an appearance. I mean, Ratchet and Rivet is also there. And there's one more which I'll mention later. I'll mention the first level we go through, which is called the Sky Garden. And it's a good beginner level that lets you explore and get a feel for the game. And the two words that came into my mind was charming and joyful. Like, the world was just such a delight that it takes you back to simpler times, but with additional tech and twists, if that makes sense. So punching and spinning and rocketing through all the minions felt so satisfying. The second level, called Construction Derby, was another super fun 3D platforming level, and I loved just flying through the enemies with the rocket dog, feeling every bit of bump and blast on the way. And finally, towards the end of the playthrough, which was about 45 minutes, I got to this boss, and it wasn't difficult per se, but it was super fun and rewarding still. It had a good difficulty balance where you still had to learn the moves, and it took a death or so to learn each move. But it was also nice because it wasn't so difficult to the point where you want to scream or tear your hair out. But the key thing I got out of the boss fight was it just felt so fun. Punching the octopus in the face and getting through the different stages, and by the end, when you beat him, the animations and the mechanics that you go through just made me have this big grin on my face. Now, as if that wasn't enough, after beating the octopus boss, I went through another sequence where I had to kind of platform through the ocean because, how can I put this? The water is kind of sucked up by and spit out by the octopus boss, and I have to get through it. And at the very end, who else do I see but Atreus and Kratos? I got so excited in the booth and I screamed that the rest of the room kind of looked over and was like, is everything okay over here? Because you guys know how much I love God of War. So there you guys have it. That was my first impression of Astro Bot based off the 45 minutes that I got to play it during Summer Game Fest Playdays. Now, it's going to be coming out on the 6th of September and I'm so excited. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I did play other games during Summer Game Fest and I'm going to be posting videos on those in the following days. Anyway, that's all that I have to say. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.